Oh, can you hear me?
We can now.
Okay, my computer is telling me that I am muted, so I'm sorry about that. Um, okay, quick restart. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly All In for Kansas Kids Strengthening Early Childhood in Kansas webinar for October 8th, 2025. My name is Julia Gruss. I am your facilitator for today, and I am a research project coordinator for KU's Center for Public Partnerships and Research. I also have my colleague Brianna Houston with me today, who will be dropping any relevant links that you see on your screen into the chat. She will also be monitoring for questions. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put those into the chat. As always, our webinars are held on the second Wednesday of the month. If you are interested in getting early childhood systems updates on a weekly basis, you can sign up to receive the All In for Kansas Kids e-newsletter on the Children's Cabinet website at www.kschildrenscabinet.gov. Today we have two presentations for you. We have Meritas Altuna, the Family Infant Toddler Services, and Hillary Joy Sims, Early Childhood Enrichment Program from the Kansas State School for the Blind. And Julie Taylor is going to talk to us about Growing Futures Early Education Center. And then following their presentations, as always, I'll give you a few early childhood systems updates and send you on your way. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Meritus. Meritus, you're actually muted. There you go.
Okay, well, thank you, Julia, and thank you everyone for joining us during your lunch hour. So my name is Maritas. I am the Director of the Family Infant Toddler Services at the Kansas State School for the Blind. And let's move on to the next slide, please. So today we'll cover three things. First, how the Kansas State School for the Blind, or KSSB, supports young children with visual impairments. Next, we will tackle the impact of vision loss on early learning and development. And finally, an overview of our FIT services and early childhood enrichment program. Next slides, please. The KSSB plays a central role in supporting children and youth who are blind or visually impaired from birth through age 21. As a state agency, KSSB offers a wide range of services, both on campus programs and statewide outreach. And on campus, we provide daycare, preschool, school age programs, and a transition program that helps young adults ages 18 to 21 prepare for life after high school. Our school's outreach goes far beyond our campus. We partner with school districts, educators, and families across the state, bringing support, training, and resources wherever they're needed. Through our outreach, we offer the mobile STEM unit. We have blind sports, a variety of online classes, including computer science, braille music, podcasting, and speech and debate. We also provide Family Infant Toddler Services, our program, that offers specialized vision support for children from birth to 3 directly in their homes and communities. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's take a step back and think about why these services matter early on. Research tells us that about 80% of what a child learns is acquired through vision, and much of that learning happens incidentally. So vision sparks movement. Babies notice a face, a shiny rattle, or a toy that's rolling, and they reach, roll, crawl, and eventually walk toward it. When the visual input is limited, that natural drive to move may be reduced. This can influence how quickly children develop skills like crawling, standing, and walking. Vision also helps children make sense of space, where their body is in relation to furniture, stairs, or doorways. And without strong visual cues, it can take more time for them to build confidence, navigating their surroundings, or understanding distance and direction. Much of early thinking skills develops through watching the world in action, like a ball rolling under a chair and reappearing on the other side. When those visual experiences aren't as accessible, it can slow the development of problem solving skills and an understanding of how objects and people relate to one another. As you know, children often learn their first words by watching someone point an object and naming it, or by noticing facial expressions that match the tone of voice. With limited visual access to these cues, they may miss many of the natural language learning moments, which can affect how quickly vocabulary and communication skills grow. Concepts such as size, shape, color, and movement often arise from comparing what we see. When children can't visually compare a big ball with a small one or see how a car moves differently from a doll, those concepts may take longer to form and may rely more on other senses like touch or hearing. So, social connections also depends heavily on visual signals like smiles, eye contact, waving, or even the way someone's face changes when they're happy or upset. When these signals aren't as clear or accessible, it can be harder for children to read emotions, join in group play, or feel fully included, which may affect their confidence and sense of connection. So each of these areas, physical, cognitive, language, social, emotional, is deeply intertwined. When vision is limited, children often miss many of the natural everyday experiences that fuel development. And recognizing this impact helps us better understand the unique ways they experience the world. Next slide, please. Okay. So early vision loss impacts far more than just the early years. They need explicit teaching and practice for skills that typically develop naturally through visual observations. Without targeted vision services, these challenges can affect school readiness, academic progress, and social experiences. And as you know, over time, delays in learning essential skills can limit future opportunities and affect their overall quality of life. Next slide, please. Oh, it's already on that slide. So we've seen how vision shapes early development and why starting support early makes such difference. And that's why the Kansas State School for the Blind partners with the local infant toddler services of Kansas and the Kansas Early Childhood Developmental Services through KDHE to provide specialized vision support for children from birth to 3 years. And our services are free and they are statewide. We meet families where they are at home or in their communities. Next slide, please. Next slide. Is the slide being shown because I can't see it on my screen?
Yes, right now the Our Team slide is up.
Okay. Somehow it's not showing on my screen. So our team, is it the slide showing is our team?
Yes, Maritas.
Okay, thank you. Of course, none of these would be possible without our incredible team of developmental vision specialists serving regions in the state. And our providers are certified teachers of students with visual impairments and orientation mobility specialists. So I can't see the slide. I have their pictures there, their names, and the region that they are serving. Next slide, please. So if you have the map on your slide, here's a look at where our team members are serving across the state. You'll see each name place in the region that they cover. And this map highlights our statewide reach and our commitment to serving families where they are. Next slide, please. Because I can't see the slides, you should have a slide that says Vision Services. And on that screen are the various services that we offer. This include functional vision assessments and evaluations, specialized interventions, including those for CVI or cerebral visual impairment, which is the leading cause of visual impairment for children, and transition support. We also provide a variety of resources and educational opportunities through presentations, trainings, and hands-on make and take sessions. In addition, we focus on family engagement, offering opportunities for parents to connect with one another through a support group. Okay, next slide. Who should be referred? So referrals are encouraged for children with a confirmed visual diagnosis, children with suspected or diagnosed CVI, concerns from parents or caregivers about a child's vision, children with pre-existing conditions that increase the risk of vision impairment, including prematurity, certain syndromes, family history of vision issues, or traumatic events such as oxygen deprivation, meningitis, or shaken baby syndrome. And cases where a vision screening suggests further evaluation is needed. Next slide. To make a referral, you may contact your local infant toddler services of Kansas. There are 29 of them at itsofks.org or visit the Kansas State School for the Blind website to complete a referral form. And that's it for the Family Infant Toddler Services. I'm sorry, I can't see the slide. It's now your turn, Hillary. Pass it to Hillary.
Thank you, Maritas. I appreciate it. I'm Hillary Joy Sims. I am a teacher of students with visual impairments, and I am the director of early childhood enrichment here at KSSB. What we do within the ECEP is we're serving children with visual impairments through a free preschool enrichment classroom. That also includes sighted peers so that children with visual impairments are able to access an environment with their sighted peers as well. We also, as part of the program, we offer tuition-based childcare to extend that preschool day from typically 3 hours to a full day so that families are able to come to the program and they're then able to leave and go to work if they need to. We also, as a part of that, offer childcare to our siblings who, so that the family can, again, make that one-stop drop. We also have several staff that take advantage of our childcare services. And then beyond that, we have availability to our community as well. May I have the next slide, please? So, as I mentioned, the ECEP consists of 2 different classrooms. Our preschool enrichment classroom supports those children transitioning from Part C to Part B. And we are supporting their visual impairments within our classroom environment. You'll find that our rooms are a little more Spartan than a traditional preschool classroom. That's so that we have the opportunity to really explore the toys that are available and really focus on learning how to play with different toys effectively before we move on to things. But obviously, it's the type of thing that we change frequently. We also have our childcare classrooms, which look a little more like a traditional childcare environment. We are licensed through KDHE, so that we again can provide that day-long service to children 6 weeks of age to 6 years, or that kindergarten eligibility. And I hope you enjoyed the sweet pictures of our friends enjoying different elements of our program throughout the day. They're pretty sweet. May I have the next slide, please? So we've had our preschool enrichment classroom for we're in our 6th year, but we've just in the last year moved into a larger area within our campus. And so we've been here for about a year. We went from serving 6 children within our preschool enrichment classroom in a converted dormitory room in an old building here on campus to now we have 3 classrooms. We've served a total of 29 students. 17 of those students have visual impairments, and then 13 of the students are accessing childcare. And that again is that combination of students with visual impairments, and then staff children, and then children from the community. So, and we continue to grow. We are adding staff as we grow, and so we're actually just about at the point where we need to add more staff so that we can accept more children. 3 of the students within our program are they are here as a part of their IEPs, so we're able to offer their related services as well here on campus. Children that just are participating in the preschool enrichment classroom without an IEP, they receive the ability, we can consult a little bit, but some of them are receiving their IEP services within their school district. But as I said, all students participate in the preschool enrichment program at no cost. So we're able to do that through being here at KSSB. It's a part of our mission, and wanting to ensure that those kiddos are receiving those services. May I have the next slide, please? Moving forward, we're looking to grow. We're going to be During this school year, we're hoping to get to that licensed capacity of 30 children on a daily basis. Right now, we're averaging about 15 students a day. We have that 29 total, but some of the students do come only certain days of the week. So we're hoping to reach that 30 number mark. And then also eventually, the plan is that we will expand into an additional 2 classrooms so that we can serve children in a more closer age group range. We currently have an infant room. We have our toddler room that's serving children 13 months to approximately 3 years old. And then we have the preschool room that is serving children 3 years to kindergarten eligibility. And what we'd like to do is tease that out just a little bit more, make our preschool enrichment program more of a 4 to 5-year-old classroom, and then have those 3 to 4-year-olds in their own classroom. So that's what we're hoping to do moving forward. And may I have the next slide, please? Maritas and I want to say thank you for allowing us to chat with you today. Want to open it up to anybody that has questions. If you need anything, certainly here's our contact information. We're happy to help. We're happy to consult. If you have classrooms that you go into and you need that support, I'm here to help. We also have our field services team that is also able to help within the greater community. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, please feel free to come off mute and ask a question, or you can put any questions into the chat.
Julia, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Maritas, do you have anything to say finally?
No, just thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you to both of you for being here and sharing that information with us. We will move along to our next presenter. If any questions do come to mind, still feel free to put those into the chat. So next we have Julie Taylor, who is going to talk to us about mental health and perinatal support services at Growing Futures.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you all today, and I appreciate you giving me your time. I'm going to try my best to keep this to 20 minutes, but so if I do feel like I'm rushing through the information a little bit and you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. But just know that I am moving along a little more quickly just to make sure I don't keep you all over too much. So my name is Julie Taylor, and I am the mental health specialist at Growing Futures Early Education Center in Overland Park, Kansas. And I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you about not only our program, but to zoom in a little bit into our mental health services and how we support our perinatal parents. So, yeah, so let's see. All right, next slide, please. Sorry, I forgot that I'm not the one moving the slides. So some of you may be wondering, what is Growing Futures? And to be honest, if I had the time, I could talk to you about Growing Futures all day because it's something very near and dear to my heart. I started in long ago in the classroom setting, working with in early childhood in a child care facility, and got my master's in social work, and was looking for something that really met my passion for both the early childhood field and the social work field. And I'm so thankful I found Growing Futures. It has been such a wonderful environment to work in, and I feel like the work we do is so important and makes such a huge impact. So I'm excited to be here today. So I came to Growing Futures about 9.5 years ago as a home visitor, and worked as a home visitor for about 4.5 years, and then moved into the mental health specialist role. And really what I'm hoping today is a couple of things. I'm hoping that you guys get to know who we are a little bit more. I'm hoping that you, by the end of this, feel connected to our mission. And then I'm hoping that you have a little more understanding about what our mental health services look like and how we support our perinatal parents. So Growing Futures is a Head Start and Early Head Start program in Overland Park, Kansas. And we serve the highest need families in the Johnson County area, and particularly in the Overland Park, Kansas area, or the Shawnee Mission School District. And the reason I say highest need is actually intentional, because as a Head Start program, we are actually required to make sure that we are serving the highest need families, just based on a lot of different factors. One being their poverty level. So a lot of our families are at or below the poverty level in our program. And our mission is to nurture children and strengthen families to enrich our ecosystem. And we are, I want to give you a snapshot of what our program looks like and a couple of things that we offer. So one piece about Growing Futures is that we offer early childhood education, and we do this through a center-based program and classroom setting, but we also have a home visiting program available to perinatal parents and children from 0 to 3. We offer wraparound support services, so we don't just support the child, we support the whole family. We offer individualized support for children. So when we're working with children, if there's specific needs that they have, we make sure that they're connected to the supports that they need. And we work with the local school district and with the teachers to make sure that each child is getting what they need. And another really cool aspect about Growing Futures is our strong community partnerships, whether that be from volunteers, funders, our community partners that we refer to that support our families. And there are so many other things that we do. It's impossible to capture them all in one screen. but here's a few just to help you get to know us a little more. So I do want to talk a little bit more about this ecosystem. Not just because I'm a nerdy social worker, which I am. I love talking about systems. I think they're such a helpful window into understanding children and families. But I really think it's such an important aspect of what we do here at Growing Futures. And so if some of you are new, what I want you to think about is not just our broader system as a community, but I want you to take a minute and just think of yourself as a child or a child that you know. And when we look at a child's ecosystem, we're really looking at a few different realms. So the child and with that child themselves as an individual and what they have within. And then we're also looking at their family system, so the environment that they are in that is impacting them. And then we're also looking even broader to their community system that they have in place, which involves a lot of you. I really love to put Growing Futures in this white line, like in between the family and the community, because I really feel like we are a partner and a bridge with the family to the broader community system and the different supports they have to offer. And really the key there is that when this child has a strong ecosystem, that child is set up to thrive. And so really our goal here at Growing Futures is to do just that. We want to support and empower the family to create a nurturing and safe environment and have all the tools and resources they need to do that so that that child can thrive. And we do that through collaborating in the broader community sense. So a few ways we do this at Growing Futures is through health and nutrition. So we have a health and nutrition specialist on site who works with children and families to make sure they're maintaining all of their health needs, getting their well child and immunizations done, making sure she's connecting families with insurance if needed, and many other things. We have a school readiness and disability specialist who works with families and our local school district to make sure if there are individual needs that children have, that the school district is able to come on site and work with them here while they're at school. We have a family services team who does so much, but each family in our program has either a family support advocate or a family educator who are really their go-to people for any resources or referrals they need. They work with families on their individual goals that they have and setting up ways to reach those goals. They do parent connection nights. They do a lot of different ways of building that family's protective factors. And then what we're here to talk about today is mental health supports, and that's what I do. And that's really making sure that the child and anyone in their family system, or you would also say their home environment, is getting access to the mental health services they need to thrive and to support and have a positive home environment. All right, so we're going to zoom in a little bit into mental health, and particularly in a minute, we will talk about the perinatal supports. So at Growing Futures, there's a lot of ways that we provide mental health services. Previously, we didn't have a mental health specialist on site. We had someone come in, and over time, they realized we needed somebody on site full time just because of the needs in our agency. And I'm so thankful to be able to be in this role. And I feel like it's such a cool thing to be able to see families from start to finish in our program and the growth that happens, particularly from the mental health lens. So in the mental health realm, we do offer parent caregiver classes twice a year for 5 weeks at a time on positive caregiving practices. Where there's childcare and dinner provided, a parent consultation, which is when I meet with a parent really for any type of support, whether that be for challenging behaviors going on in the home, any mental health needs that are going on in the home or with the child, and just really making sure that parents are getting the support they need in that area. I do staff consultation. So that's if a staff member has a question or needs support with a family in our program, or if the teachers in the classrooms have a child who needs support with behaviors or mental health services or social emotional development, I work with the teachers to come up with a strategy plan or an individualized plan for that child so that they, which is not an IEP, it's different from an IEP, but it's an individualized plan of how they will support that child in the classroom. And then I'm going to skip over because we're going to come back to perinatal mental health, but another huge piece of my role is mental health referrals. So I connect constantly with local mental health professionals in the area. And when families come to me or anyone in the home and the child or the child need mental health services, I work with that parent to make sure that they get access to the place that works best for them, not just a paper with a list of resources on it. So it's something that's a huge priority to me. I will talk about this later, of making sure that when parents come to me with that need, that they are met with direct support and they're not left waiting too long. I'm making sure I'm taking inventory of their specific needs and then what places in the community meet those needs. Another piece of this is on-site play therapy. We are so lucky to partner with a local play therapist who comes on site to do play therapy for children who need it. And the really cool thing about that is that when families have a time or a transportation barrier, this allows them to get their child the services without having to choose between a doctor appointment or a mental health appointment or a work requirement or getting their child something that they really need. Having that option on site is pretty cool. And then something new that we've added this program year are social skills groups, which is where we have a small group of children who need support with either social emotional skills or peer skills. And we do a group where they're able to build that skills in a smaller setting once a week. And then jumping back over to prenatal and postpartum check-ins, that's another really huge piece about my role that many people don't realize we do here at Growing Futures. When they think about mental health, they might think more of working with behaviors or working with referrals, but not everyone knows that a piece of the mental health services here is that we do prenatal and postpartum check-ins with all of our prenatal and postpartum parents. So, next slide, please. Thank you. So I do want to talk about perinatal mental health and why this is important to talk about, why this is a priority for Growing Futures and for our parents. And really the way we do that is looking at what the research tells us. So what we know is that 1 in 5 women experience symptoms of depression or anxiety during that perinatal period. So when we're looking at the perinatal period, that's really the period between pregnancy until about 12 months postpartum. Some research now is actually showing that that can be extended to about 15 months postpartum, which definitely has been interesting when we look at our services and what parents may need. But something else that is also that not many people know about perinatal mental health is that dads actually can experience this too. So research has shown that 1 in 10 dads experience symptoms of depression or anxiety in that perinatal period. And really that obviously they're not going through the physical change, but they are going through that emotional change. And it can be stressful and overwhelming. So some dads do experience these symptoms. And then another piece to this is that we know the Edinburgh postnatal screen is a recommended tool. So that helps us screen for perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. It is not a diagnostic tool, but it is a way for us to identify families who may need a referral or may need us to check in a little more often. So most of our perinatal work, next slide, please. Thank you. Most of our perinatal work is done in our home-based program. Not only in the home-based program, but primarily because this is a program that serves our prenatal parents. So our home-based program is a home visiting program available to about 77 children. It serves prenatal parents and children from utero to age 3. And they utilize the model curriculum parents as teachers curriculum to support early Head Start home visiting services. And that's actually what I started out doing when I first came to Growing Futures. And they meet weekly for 90 minutes with their families. And they do that to support parent-child interaction activities between the caregiver and child. They utilize parents as teachers tools to offer additional family support information. They provide information on child development, milestones, fetal development, as well as safety and health information. They also provide the same routine developmental screens that we do in our center, which are ASQs, CORE, which stands for Child Observation Record, and more. And they do provide referrals to community resources. And they also work with parents on setting goals for themselves and for their child. And I want you all to have that context so that when we talk about the perinatal supports, you have a vision in your mind of what that might look like. And it's pretty cool to see how powerful it can be. When I first started in my role, and again, I came from doing that home visiting role. One thing after talking to the home visitors and our health and nutrition specialists at the time, we started to realize that while they had such an amazing support with their home visitor weekly, we felt like some additional support was needed specifically from the mental health and health realm, where parents were getting more frequent check-ins and supports throughout that timeline of the perinatal timeline. And one that was partially because it lifted a layer of stress from the home visitor, because they are doing so many different things, and sometimes they may not feel as confident talking about, or at least diving deeper, I would say diving deeper into perinatal information. And this allows us to step in and talk more deeply into those areas, and identify where supports are needed. And it actually has shown to be such an amazing thing where we've been able to identify so many more families who need that support so they don't have to suffer alone as long. And they can get that support in place earlier. It also, I don't know how many of you are familiar with perinatal mental health, but it is very, very important for the child, not only the child that they're carrying, but for any other children in their home, that they are getting access to care if needed, because it really impacts attachment and bonding, and it impacts the child's social emotional development if they're not getting those supports, or it can impact that. So this is a visual of what we came up with, just so you can kind of see what it might look like. And so you can see that during the entire perinatal period, that parent is not without support. The entire time, not only do they have support weekly from their home visitor, but they also have staggered support from myself and the health and nutrition specialist. So when they first enroll as a pregnant mom, they're placed with their home visitor and they start home visits. And then our health and nutrition specialist comes and does an initial check-in to introduce herself and go over basic health information. I also come out during the prenatal period and do a check-in, a mental health check-in, and go over just signs and symptoms to be looking out for so that they're prepared, right? Because we know knowledge is power. And then at delivery, Within 2 weeks, our health and nutrition specialist comes out and does a health check-in, just to make sure everything's going okay, to answer any questions, and especially if there's any questions about like breastfeeding or anything like that. And then I come back out at a month postpartum to do another mental health check-in where we do the Edinburgh screen. Actually, each time I come out, even during the prenatal period, we do the Edinburgh screen, but the 1 month mark is pretty significant because typically there is a baby blues period between delivery and the first couple 2 to 3 weeks postpartum. So when I come out at a month, that is very intentional, because if there are any lingering symptoms at that 1 month mark, that definitely means it's no longer baby blues, and it could be something else that we need to look deeper into, right? So this is a great check-in time for me to make sure they're doing okay, or if they're having any symptoms, for us to dig a little deeper and find out if a referral is needed. From there, we're able to establish if there's a high Edinburgh screen, do we need to do the Edinburgh more often? Do I need to check in more often? And so on. Then Kaylee, our health and nutrition specialist, comes back out in that 3 to 5 month period, typically around 5 months, to do another health check-in. And then I come back out in that 9 to 12 9 to 12 month postpartum mark to do a final mental health check-in, or as needed. So like I said earlier, some research is showing now that this can be extended even to the 15-month period. So that is something we're looking at in the future of like, do we need to extend this? And of course, in my role and in our health and nutrition specialist role, it is an as needed basis. This is the timeline we follow, but if parents need additional support, we're both able to do that. I want you guys to be able to see, what do those check-ins look like? So when the health and nutrition specialist comes and does a check-in, even though she's not checking in on mental health, she's still a checkpoint, right? So she can see if there's something that's not quite right with that mom, or if the mom brings up something to her, she's able to share that with me so I can follow up. But it's still someone checking in to make sure that that mom is doing okay. And during her check-ins, she does a nutrition assessment. She discusses like current challenges, changes that occur in pregnancy in the body, making sure there's a primary medical and dental provider established, and discussing signs of like labor, birth plan, breastfeeding, or many other things, or any questions that the mom has. Slide, please. And then for the mental health check-ins, really what I'm doing is making sure parents have the information. Like I mentioned earlier, knowledge is power, right? Before, long ago, a lot of when we didn't have this information, or it wasn't readily available, many moms and dads would suffer in silence, and they thought something was wrong with them because they didn't know that this was a normal sign of some of these perinatal mental health challenges. So one of my goals is to make sure all parents know what these signs are and what to look out for and what to do. I also encourage I encourage all of our parents to share that information with someone close to them who might notice the symptoms when they aren't noticing them in themselves, right? And then, of course, helping them know where to go if they do experience that. And they all know that I am one of those safe people. Their home visitor is one of those safe people that they can share if they need any support, but they also have other resources available as well. Like I said before, we also do the Edinburgh screen at each check-in. And if there is a higher need situation, I have the home visitor do it more often. So when we do the Edinburgh screens, they get turned into me, and I score and monitor them. So if a parent has like a monitor or a high screening result, then I'm able to communicate with the parent and the home visitor on like, do we need to do a referral? Do I need to come back out more often? anything that that family needs to make sure they're getting that support. And then when a referral is needed, like I said earlier, I'm able to get them connected with a provider that meets their specific needs, so that they're not stuck. Really, I want them to get that support as soon as possible. Something else I forgot to mention, I think I forgot to mention, is that these check-ins aren't just for the parents in our home-based program. So that's primarily where it happens. But this is also offered to parents in our center if their child is under the age of 1. So that typically involves our infant room. We have one infant room. So I offer these check-ins for the postpartum moms in that room. And then also sometimes we have parents with older children in the center, but we might find out that they're pregnant, or they might enroll and then have a young infant. And so the family services team knows that they're able to offer and ask that parent, do you want our health or our mental health specialist to check in with you and do a postpartum or a prenatal check-in? And that has happened quite a few times. So really, one thing I do want to say about perinatal mental health supports is that it's not just one person. And I could not do this work if it was just me alone. It really takes everyone. And it takes all of those systems and support working together to make this support happen, right? I use the visual of puzzle pieces because each person does something different, but when we all collaborate together, we put our puzzle pieces together, it creates a cohesive picture of support. So when our family educators and our family support advocates support our parents, they're really that first line, building the relationship with a family that is able to bring me in to support. If they weren't doing the work they do, I would not be able to do my job. Our health and nutrition specialist brings also another piece to the table because health is also so tied to mental health. And sometimes, like I said, in that timeline, she might go do a check-in and notice something that's not quite right and be able to bring me in as well. And then, of course, last but not least, definitely not least, is our lovely community partners and providers that meet the needs of our families all the time, right? That community ring of our ecosystem. They have to be there for when we need to refer or when families have specific needs outside of our realm. They're able to step in and make sure they help that parent heal, or they get the parents the resources that they need. But really, all of us working together is what creates that beautiful picture and helps empower that family and ultimately creates that nurturing environment for the child. So why does this matter? So you can see on the left here, it's been really cool to see the impact that this timeline of check-ins has made. When I first started the referrals, it would be like maybe 3 a year, which isn't necessarily, the concern isn't necessarily the number of referrals, but for me, it's like the amount identified. And so that to me, when we see that increase, to me, it says we're identifying more parents that needed it that maybe we weren't identifying before, not because we weren't doing the work, but just because we increased the amount of people and we collaborated more as a team to ensure that we're supporting from so many different angles. So in our last program year, we had 12 pregnant moms receive a prenatal mental health check-in. And then we had 20 parents, and this includes parents in the center and in our home visiting program with children under the age of 1 receive a postpartum check-in, which is pretty significant. And then 9 parents received a mental health referral last year due to those check-ins, which is pretty significant. So it shows how such an impact can happen when we all come together. And to me, and this is how I really want to end this and tying it back to our mission statement at Growing Futures, is that when we are working together and we're doing that collaborative work and we're supporting parents, not just in perinatal mental health, but in other areas. I say perinatal mental health because that's what we're zooming into today. But really that is strengthening this ecosystem. And when we strengthen in our families and that family ecosystem, we're also nurturing the child, right? And we're empowering the whole family so that they can create a safe, nurturing environment for the children. So that child that you had in your mind at the beginning, you could see how when that child has all of these supports in place, really together, all of us, we are nurturing children to strengthen families and enrich our ecosystem. That's all I have today. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And I think we're going to open it up for any questions that you all might have.
Yes, and again, feel free to come off mute to ask a question, or you can drop your question into the chat. All right, I'm going to say that that's no questions for you, Julie. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What an amazing program that we definitely need more of. All right, I'm going to move into our early childhood systems updates. All right. Child development and information sessions. The Child Development Associate Credential, if you are considering earning yours. Casito, Kansas Child Care Training Opportunities, is hosting live CDA information sessions. There are 3 more this month, October 9th, October 23rd, and October 28th. You can scan that QR code on your screen to learn more and to register. And also you can utilize the link that Brianna just put into the chat. But you will learn more about the CDA requirements, explore support for scholarship and paid training track participants, meet Casito CDA consultants, and ask questions and connect with helpful resources. So if you are interested in that, you can follow the link in the chat. And a funding opportunity with Northwest Kansas Early Childhood Sustainability Grant funding. The purpose of this grant is to support the long-term sustainability of nonprofit early education centers and qualified childcare homes in Northwest Kansas. The funding partners with this are the Dane G. Hansen Foundation, Kansas Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund, and the Patterson Family Foundation. And the impact of this is that supports the sustainability of quality nonprofit early education centers or qualified child care homes in Northwest Kansas through a permanently endowed grant fund. So you can learn more about your eligibility, emergency grants, and the application following the link in the chat. And lastly, as always, reminders and next steps. The Early Childhood Recommendations Panel meeting for the month of October is on October 17th from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Our next systems building webinar will be held on Wednesday, November 12th at noon. And the next Children's Cabinet meeting on Friday, December 5th from 9 to noon. And you can find all of these meetings and their recordings on the Children's Cabinet YouTube channel, as well as watching live through a live stream. To stay up to date with us, you can sign up for that All In for Kansas Kids e-newsletter, or you can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So thank you so much to our presenters and for everybody that joined us today. I hope you have a great rest of the week and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.